Hello everyone, welcome to the Evans Central Christmas light display for 2019. This is the behind the scenes or walkthrough video for the year. Regular viewers will probably not see too many changes this year, but for those who have not seen the display before and want to know what it's all about and how it's all put together, this is the video. So I have a speaker there running from the garage, which is tuned into the FM broadcast that I do. These candy canes, they're second year running now. These are 5 volt pixels. They're WS2811. I have 6 of those. There's 48 pixels in each of those. Next to those, these are Coro stars that I've made. They've just got 3 12 volt 2811 pixels modules in them. And those Coro stars I made myself. That's out of 3mm core flute or Coro. They sit underneath the arches. I have 4 arches in this air seeder tube. Inside those is 12 volt 2811 strip. It's a bit hard to see during the day, but you'll notice I use conduit pieces with a hole in the ends and temp peg just to hold them in place. Don't need a brace to keep them in place. They hold up quite nicely there. They're about 2.5 meters long each arch, or the light inside is actually 2.5 meters. The tubing itself is about 2.6 to allow for a bit of a gap down the bottom for the feet, so that you don't see the you don't cover up the bottom pixel. A couple of signs out the front there. Collecting some money for the Kmart Wishing Tree appeal, so we just get loose change donated into our letterbox. So onto one of the front boxes, what I do is I cover them with Coro core flute presents, if you like. Helps waterproof a bit more the boxes themselves, and obviously hides the ugliness of what those boxes are, so you focus more on the display. This one is a 12 volt PSU and a fuse block for it, so that's purely just providing power injection for the 12 volt items out the front, which is the arches and the stars. On top of that was a 240 volt power board, so that powers that PSU and also runs over to this control box as well. So this control box has a 5 volt PSU located in it, and that powers the candy cane nodes, but it also has a differential receiver from the Falcon F16 V2 board, which is you'll see it shortly. So that output is going to feed data through to all the front lawn stuff. So these Coro presents here, which are the same as the stars, they're 12 volt 2811 modules inside those. But yeah, that PSU and controller does all the front items. The Megatree, these are 2811 12 volt square nodes. I purchased this Megatree second hand last year, so this is the second year that it's in service. We've had some pretty nasty winds the first few days that this was up, so it's and a bit of heat as well, so it's kind of stretched them out a bit. So every night I have to go around and check that they're all hooked in place. But the pole is concreted a sleeve into the ground about 550 to 600 mil deep, and then the main pole slides in. Coro topper on the top, which has again some 12 volt 2811 modules. This power supply is a 12 volt power supply, but it's a larger one. I think it's about 500 watts from memory, because this tree was built to be able to do 360, but I only have it around about 220 degrees. The controller inside this box is a J1 P2 that is driving all of the pixel strands, as well as the topper as well. That pretty much, it gets close to maxing out the capabilities of the P2 if I was to go 360. Oh no, sorry, it can do 360, that controller, but I am thinking of upgrading it. Spinners, one of the first Pixel items that I ever had on my display for a few years running now. Still the original, that's 12 volt 2811 strips on each arm there. connected together. I use one of these Hanson Electronics pixel buffers to help boost a bit of the signal. It's a long data cable from the controller box on the porch through to these ones, so that just needs a bit of a signal boost. Here is a 240 volt power on digital timers. So that is powering the front lawn PSUs, the main the Megatree power supply, and also a power supply that's up on the roof that's providing some of the power for the roof outlines. They're on digital timers, so I can essentially set and forget those. I've got 4 floods uplighting the columns. They're 9 watt 2811 pixels, single pixel. These Kmart stars are 5 volt pixel nodes again. New prop for this year. Wasn't planning on it, but I purchased this from Extreme Lighting Displays. It's a Bosco type product. It's 10mm thick core flute, quite strong and sturdy. That has 5 volt pixel nodes all through it. So just for this, initially I wanted to have this up on the roof, but time and finances got the better of me. So this year it's just sort of staked in the front lawn for now. This is the main controller. So this again is a Falcon board with a 12 volt power supply, providing power injection for all those items. But this is the F16 V2, so it's the red board. And this year is the first time that I'm using the differential expansion board there. So this year I've got 3 receiver boards running off it. One of which was the one that we saw out on the front lawn previously. The other 2 go around the side of the house up to the roof to do all the roof outlines. The motifs and the Merry Christmas sign. This is literally the very first. The sign is the very first pixel item I ever did. All 5 volt 2811 modules. Nodes, sorry. P10 panels, there's 4 P10 indoor panels there, just used as a bit of a scrolling sign, tuned to and joins in with some of the effects of the whole house. My 2 singing faces is Santa and Rudolph. They're 12 volt 2811 modules inside. 5 volt PSU there is powering the 5 volt nodes in the motif and the sign, as well as the P10 panels. Yeah, those singing faces, they're kind of like a rear projection style. My matrix is P10 panel, excuse the legs. That is 5 by 5 P10 panels, so 25 panels all up. Still going strong. It's indoor panels, but they're covered in clear plastic to help weatherproof it all. 1 single 5 volt PSU on the back powers it all, including the BeagleBone Black and the Octoscroller cape on top of it. Powers everything there. So just run the power lead and a data cable, and away it goes. So speaking of data cables, this is essentially the show control command center, if you will. So it's a Raspberry Pi. I've just updated it since I recorded this video to a Raspberry Pi 3B Plus, I think it is, and running Falcon Pi Player version 3.5 into an 8-port network switch there, which all runs out to all the different controllers. That's powered 24/7, the Pi and the switch. That's a EDM FM broadcaster to broadcast my music over the radio. So I have a 240 volt and a Cat6 lead that runs across inside the garage there, up and over the roller door, clear everything, runs up to the side, and I have a controller enclosure on the right hand side there, just behind the peak, so it's a bit hidden, and that is providing power and data for the right hand side of all of the roof and garage outlines. So these are 5 volt 2811 pixel nodes pushed into some I think it's 3mm, maybe 4mm, no, sorry, 5mm chroma trim, which is zip tied to conduit, and the conduit is then zip tied to some cable tie mounts that are siliconed onto the brickwork, which is similarly how the roof outlines are also done. They're just onto the tiles. You can just see a core flute cover on the right hand side controller box there. I've just using some right angles brackets that I made up that slip under the tiles, so gravity essentially helps hold everything in place. Just a couple of zip ties to stop the core flute covers moving or flying off. But yeah, essentially this year, new is the sleigh. Everything else is pretty much the same, apart from upgrading the roof to the 5-volt nodes. Any questions? Let me know. Thanks.